What we're looking at next comes from an online streamer who, during one of her live broadcasts, captured something on camera that left her audience genuinely disturbed. This all went down several years back, yet the footage continues to puzzle people to this day. The clip itself originates from a stream in which Ari, the content creator in question, was out picking up her weekly groceries. Streaming while running errands in public is something she does from time to time, typically wrapping things up once she's back home. But it was inside her own house where things took a strange turn. A couple of hours before signing off, Ari is chatting with her viewers while slicing up some fruit from her grocery run. During the conversation, one of her viewers tells her that there's somebody standing directly behind her. Assuming they were just trying to mess with her, she brushes the comment off entirely. But as the broadcast goes on, something unfolds that sends a chill through everyone watching.
Dicen, la niña atrás que no hay niñas atrás, dejen de querer asustarme. La niña atrás que no hay niñas atrás, dejen de querer asustarme.
In the background, a figure briefly comes into view. What made this so unsettling is that Ari lives by herself, and yet it appears that somebody else was in that house with her. Viewers pointed out that the figure resembles a child, and looking carefully at the footage, it seems as though a little girl had stepped into frame before darting out of sight. Ari had absolutely no clue who her audience had spotted. She'd assumed it was all a joke, but once she reviewed the footage, it was obvious nobody was pulling her leg. There was genuinely someone, or something, in that room behind her. Details about what happened after this moment remain scarce, but honestly, the footage speaks for itself. So the real question is, who or what exactly was that? A brief social media clip set off a firestorm of debate once people began noticing something unsettling lurking in the background. The video captures a couple sitting together at their dining table having a laid-back conversation. Everything seems completely ordinary, right up until the woman suddenly flinches, as though something has yanked her hair from behind. See for yourself. In that very instant, a dark, child-sized silhouette appears to shoot across the room and vanish just as quickly. Remarkably, neither of the two people on camera seems to notice a thing while it's all being recorded. Once the footage made its way online, thousands of viewers went back through it frame by frame, desperately trying to figure out whether they were looking at a trick of the light, an unseen child wandering through, or something that defies easy explanation altogether. Our next story comes from a TikTok creator who goes by Music Lover, and the backstory alone is enough to raise some eyebrows. She explains that her father sent her these recordings, footage taken by caretakers at a shared residence where her uncle stays. Her dad believes it could be the spirit of their deceased grandfather, though she's not so sure. To her, the activity seems too intentional, too precise to brush off that easily. What makes this footage so unsettling isn't chaos or terror, it's the eerie composure of it all. A drawer slides open on its own at a measured pace, as though unseen hands are leisurely browsing its contents. No sudden jolts, no frantic movement, just a smooth and deliberate motion. Then, a sticker mounted on the wall begins peeling away by itself, not torn off or ripped free, but lifted with a kind of careful, almost tender slowness, right there in plain view of the camera, almost as if whatever is responsible wants to be noticed. There's no aggression on display here, no doors being thrown open, no objects launched across the room. Just quiet, creeping little signs that something else might be occupying that space alongside the living. If this truly is a spirit, it doesn't read as threatening. It reads as inquisitive, aware, perhaps even reaching out in the only manner available to it. Not something to fear, but absolutely something that demands attention. Here's another clip that spread rapidly all over the internet, featuring a mother enjoying an afternoon at a park with her young child. At first glance, nothing seems out of the ordinary. The little one is happily playing around with dried leaves on the ground. Then, without warning, the child goes down. Pay close attention to what happens. It's difficult to argue against the idea that something shoved that child. Could a random burst of wind really be responsible for that? Does it look like the child simply lost their balance on their own? Was there anything natural about that fall? The answer is a firm no. Not even close. Personally, I think young children may share a deeper connection with the spirit world, which might be exactly why paranormal encounters are so frequently reported around them. One night, a man named Nick is caring for his sick grandmother when something unexpected unfolds. Nick explains that his grandmother suffers from dementia, a condition that can sometimes cause people to experience hallucinations, seeing or hearing things that simply aren't there. But as Nick watches her standing motionless, something unsettling takes place. Pay close attention to what comes next. Nick's dog begins growling, its gaze locked on the hallway as though it's reacting to something lurking there. Then without warning, an object tumbles off the top of the refrigerator. When Nick goes to check what fell, the discovery only makes the whole situation feel more disturbing.
So this is in response to last night. My grandma loves to collect little figurines. One of my grandma's little angels fell off the fridge last night. See how far back?
Nick points out that the figurines are positioned well toward the back of the fridge. So the question is, how did that angel statue end up on the floor? Nick believes there's something deeply unsettling at work here, especially considering that of all the objects up there, it was the angel that came down. After the footage circulated, one viewer noticed an additional detail that sends the whole thing to another level of frightening.
Alright, I wanted to show you guys something. Honestly, I'm a bit in disbelief. But no, I'm pretty sure it's just a plug-in charger. I brought my girlfriend Claire here so she can help demonstrate. But can you try to step in front of that? And so it just does that. Move away. So that comment says that the Roomba doesn't do that unless someone's in front of it. It is kind of creepy with a smiley face and everything.
The Roomba appears to repeat the same motion over and over, nudging back and forth as though it's colliding with something standing directly in its path. Much like the girl featured earlier, Nick suspects the robot detected something blocking its way. Ever since that night, Nick has been deeply uneasy about the kitchen, but the only television in the home is in that room, so he has no choice but to spend time there. Then on a separate night, while sitting alone watching TV, this is what he captured.
So I was watching my show, and after last night, I'm definitely not leaving these lights on. But I was watching my show, and there's nothing there.
The Roomba is nowhere to be seen this time around, yet the dogs are behaving identically, their eyes locked onto something in the kitchen that no one else can see. Nick's grandfather passed away a year prior and had once told Nick that he believed he'd spotted his grandmother standing in the unlit kitchen late one night, only to walk over and find no one there at all. That story might have a direct connection to whatever is happening now, and it's part of why Nick already dreads that room. Not long after the dog fixed its stare on the kitchen, Nick caught this on camera.
Whoa. Whoa. Yo. Oh, that's cool.
The Roomba trails Nick across the living room and then, completely on its own, flips itself over, leaving him absolutely rattled. Many viewers noted that the robot was traveling in a perfectly straight line, which is not how these devices are designed to move. And once again, when it reached the edge of the stairs, rather than reversing course the way it had done before, it simply kept going and fell right off. That was the moment Nick became completely convinced that something terrifying is happening in that house. He says the dogs now want nothing to do with the kitchen, and his grandmother, through all of this, was simply worried about whether the Roomba was alright. Until any new developments come to light, this one remains one hell of a... This next clip comes from a YouTube channel called Skinner555, where a guy is filming a casual Snapchat video to share with a few friends, showing off some of his pet birds, completely unaware that he'd recorded something absolutely chilling in the process. Pay close attention to what's in the background.
So the first one of my parents' little birds is this little guy. It is little Leo. He's a cockatiel. Second little bird of my parents is a rainbow lorikeet. His name is Oliver. And there he is. Here I am with my good little mate.
At first, the doorway appears completely clear, but after uploading the clip to his story, a friend sent him a message asking what on earth was standing behind him. When he went back and watched it himself, his heart dropped, because there, peering through the door, was what appeared to be a disturbing face with its hands raised as if trying to conceal itself. He mentioned that the door connects to his back entrance, which is only secured by a single gate, and that detail alone was enough to send him into a panic. Things only got worse from there, as he began hearing strange noises while alone in the house late at night, prompting him to check every window. and in doing so, he unknowingly recorded something deeply unsettling once again.
So this is the door. That's the screen.
As he moves through the darkened house, it becomes impossible to ignore the shadowy figure just lurking motionless in the corner, seemingly watching his every move. Sadly, there's very little information available about what followed, so we have no way of knowing how the story ended, but hopefully he got out of there and nothing. The profile you're looking at on screen is Eliana's. She typically shares casual glimpses into her everyday life, but during one particular night, while she was in her bedroom with her husband and their baby, something unsettling unfolded, and she had her camera rolling the whole time. The door gradually creeps open on its own, and within seconds it slams shut with nobody anywhere close to it. What really stands out is how unfazed everyone in the room seems. They barely bat an eye, almost like this is routine for them, or maybe they're keeping it together so the baby doesn't pick up on the tension. That eerie calmness actually raised a lot of red flags for viewers, and plenty of them were convinced the whole thing was set up. So where do you land on this one? Is it a subtle sign of something no one can explain? Or does a rational answer exist? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. A man named Jesus from Oklahoma says his brother was in the process of loading a Christmas tree into his car outside their mother's house, planning to haul it back to his apartment. While everyone's attention was locked on getting everything to fit, something deeply unsettling was unfolding just beyond them. Bent over with his head buried in the trunk, he had no idea what was lurking nearby. A strange humanoid silhouette can be spotted drifting through the background, moving from left to right between the trees before suddenly dropping out of sight. Shortly after, his youngest brother called out an alarm as something disturbing appeared to reach out from underneath the vehicle, a hand stretching toward his legs. Nobody understood what they were dealing with in that moment, but it wasn't until their mother reviewed the footage afterward that the truly chilling realization came to light. Late one night, a mother overwhelmed by a deep, gnawing sense of dread picks up her phone and starts recording. She's stretched out in bed beside her daughter, who had earlier admitted she was too scared to stay in her own room alone. Something about the atmosphere feels deeply off, unsettling enough that the mother feels the need to capture it on film. What her camera picks up next, she never expected.
My daughter's sleeping with me in my bed tonight. She kept saying that she was really scared of something in her room. I'm a little bit shaky. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is the same toy that used to go off in the past. It's always terrified me since. Because I would ask it questions and it would answer with noises.
One of the fingers on the toy's arm rises on its own, as though it's deliberately pointing straight at her. The moment gets even stranger when the toy truck suddenly springs to life without anyone touching it. Shannon, the mother in question, says her fear goes beyond the truck simply moving. It's the feeling that something is controlling it. She's now left questioning whether her children's toys are somehow haunted or cursed, particularly after witnessing that arm move with no clear cause. But here's the real question. Did Shannon actually document something from beyond our understanding, or is there a rational explanation hiding in plain sight? The call is yours. A home security camera mounted on the front porch of a family residence in Tacoma recorded a bizarre phenomenon that left viewers scratching their heads after the footage began circulating online. The person who posted the video explained that the camera had been set up outside their mother's house, aimed directly at the property of an elderly neighbor who kept almost entirely to himself. This man rarely, if ever, stepped outside, and the uploader's mother mentioned she had only laid eyes on him a single time. At roughly 3 in the morning, everything seemed perfectly still, until something completely unexpected happened. A sudden, intense burst of light erupted from the bushes beside the neighbor's home and disappeared just as quickly as it had come. The whole thing unfolded in total silence, with absolutely no sound of fireworks or anything resembling an explosion. This was confirmed by the person who originally posted the clip. The idea that fireworks were responsible seemed unlikely anyway, given that the town had extremely tight regulations around explosive devices. On top of that, this all happened in the early morning hours during spring, nowhere near any holiday or event that might explain it, which only made the whole thing harder to dismiss. Once the video gained traction online, theories started pouring in from all directions. A number of viewers suggested it could have been a reflection or some kind of unusual electrical discharge. Others, however, were convinced the camera had stumbled onto something far less ordinary, a paranormal presence passing through that quiet street in the dead of night. To this day, no definitive explanation for that mysterious flash has ever been established. A woman says that ever since she brought home a rescue dog from her local shelter, she's been surrounded by strange occurrences she simply cannot account for. Determined to get to the bottom of it, she positioned a stationary camera in her living room. and what it recorded that night has left her without answers to this day. See for yourself what her camera picked up. At first glance, it appears to be her dog poking its head up above the counter, but then you notice her actual dog is in the middle of walking away at that very same moment. She's adamant that she has no other animals in the house, and that none of this started until after she took in her new pet. So whatever is peering over that counter, it's definitely not her dog. That footage must have sent a chill straight through her. In 2024, a ghost hunting group called Paranormal Unearthed set out to investigate a reportedly haunted residence. Located in Horseheads, New York, the property has built quite a reputation. People claim to have seen a shadowy figure looming at the foot of their beds, heard children racing through the hallways, and encountered disembodied voices, eerie sounds, and even full-bodied apparitions. The house dates back to 1950, though today it operates as an Airbnb catering to guests with a taste for the supernatural. Upon arrival, the team gets to work positioning their gear throughout the property. They manage to pick up some compelling evidence along the way, but the most unsettling moment doesn't come until the dead of night, long after everyone is settled in. It's roughly 3 in the morning, and the Paranormal Unearthed crew has left cameras running in carefully chosen spots around the house, and what those cameras catch is something else entirely.
Good to go.
A shadow belonging to someone or something materializes in an otherwise deserted hallway. The team at Paranormal Unearthed has concluded that this is the spirit of one of the children believed to roam the property. But I want to know what you make of it. Could this actually be a ghost? In July 2023, YouTubers Adam Mark Explores ventured into an abandoned Victorian home that had been completely suspended in time since its last resident, a 90-year-old man named Maurice, died inside. From the second they crossed the threshold, their equipment began triggering on its own. The place was packed with personal belongings, birthday cards celebrating Maurice's 90th still pinned to the walls, rocking chairs positioned in the living room, food left sitting in the pantry, and an axe propped against the kitchen counter as though someone had simply put it down and walked away.
Check this living room out. Just completely left frozen in time. All the ornaments on the stand there. But check this out. 90th birthday cards. Still hung up. The family there. This is crazy. Absolute time capsule. Rocking chairs. No TV in here. But we're just going to have a quick walk around the house, see if we can pick anything up. Loads of old ornaments. Check this out. Check the kitchen. Bit of a tight squeeze there. Wow. Table's been tipped. The old cooker. All the food's still left too in the pantry. Check this axe out. Just everything's left. Really good condition too. It is a shame to see it like this.
Upstairs, beds were still made with clothes laid across them, shoes sitting at the foot of the bed, car keys on the dresser, and tax discs dating all the way back to 1961, everything suggesting Maurice had passed away suddenly without any warning.
Wow. Clothes draped across the bed. The old throw there. The shoes still at the end of the bed. Everything about this house is telling me that he passed away suddenly. Still in such good condition. Books under the lamp. Wow, check this out. Old typewriter, Royale. More bits and bobs in the cupboard here. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies. Oh nice, we have clothes hung up here. Wow. What a place. Another old suitcase just hanging. And more of his clothes, old shirts, t-shirts. Definitely passed away all of a sudden. Old tax discs, look at that. Wow, expires 1984, 69, 63, 61, all the way back. Bibles in this dresser. Old clock. Unbelievable. Wow. This him on his wedding day? Certainly looks like it. Does certainly look like it. Look, the old Hoovers. Still sat here. This house hasn't been modernised.
The K2 meter was spiking into the red in the middle of empty rooms with no one anywhere close to it, while the spirit talker began issuing directions. Go left, come here, almost as if something was deliberately trying to guide them toward a particular spot.
Okay, explorers. K2 going off on its own, middle of the room there. Spirit talker. Spirit talker is a go. Just gonna have a little walk around, see what we can pick up. Can't believe we're already getting stuff on that. Look, all the way to red down, Matt. So if there's any spirits in this room with us, if anyone's manipulating that device in the middle of the room, can you speak to us through this device on the chair, please? My name's Adam.
I'm Matt.
This is Matt. We don't mean any harm whatsoever. We are just here to speak to you.
Who's proper going for it? So is mine now flickering.
It's literally going all the way to red. Look. Look at that.
Yeah. Look at mine.
Nobody's anywhere near it. If you'd like to speak to us, you can do through this device. It's called a spirit talker. It'll pick up on any words that you have to say to us.
I mean, they're holding both, look. Mine's doing it, and yours is doing it exactly the same spot.
Can you give us a name or how you passed away here? That K2's flat out.
Yeah.
All the way to red.
Yeah. Mine's pretty much on like amber.
Holding it the whole time.
You can't actually see it on mine.
Okay, Spirit Talker's quiet. What is his name?
Maurice, sorry, it's a 9-year-old woman.
Go left.
Go left. Was that to my left? I'm.
Go left.
Which was 90. That's okay.
Unless he means me.
Yeah.
My left is out the room.
Through the door, yeah.
We'll listen out for the Spirit Talker. It's in my pocket. Just have a quick walk around with the K2, see if we get any activity. Seems to be all over the house. We heard some nice bumps and bangs before, didn't we? It's just started as I put it on the fireplace.
Come here.
Come here.
Come here as we're walking into this room.
Mate. So if it is Maurice, if there is any other spirits in this house that would like to speak to us, maybe somebody from the photograph, speak to us through this device. So it says go left, come here. It's definitely giving directions. You can also touch one of the black or white devices. They will change colour.
One of the explorers noticed a light travel up a coat hanging in the hallway, and at that precise instant, the device produced a response that stopped them both dead in their tracks. Is there anyone in the hallway?
Is there anyone in the hallway?
What?
Dunno, I just seen like a light.
A light?
A light. See that coat hanging off here?
Yeah.
Light just went up it.
Really?
I don't know how.
I scare people.
So as Matt's just seen the light in the hallway, the Spirit Talker's just said, I scare people.
Wait, what's the chance of it saying that?
When they asked if there were children in the house, a response came through that matched the photographs of young kids they had found downstairs, and then a name followed by an age that changed everything.
I'm with my children. When I asked are they aware, the device went off and it said I'm with my children. There is pictures with children downstairs. K2's absolutely going off on one there now. Can you tell me your name? Can you tell me the name of who we're speaking to?
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere. There is an atmosphere in this house. But the K2 is going mad there. It's just stopped now, I've looked at it actually. Can you touch that device? Oh, as I asked. Can you touch the device again on the bed? Can you really grab hold of it? I really appreciate it. All the way to red when I said that. Thank you for doing that for me. Can you tell me your name through the device? So, just gonna go through what we've got so far. Go left when we were in the living room. Come here when we went into the next room. Matt seen that light in the hallway and it said, I scare people. Then we got toys, Frank. Acknowledge as I came upstairs. Watch out. We're really here. Photos. I'm with my children. An atmosphere. Is there anything else that you'd like to make contact with? Is there any messages you'd like to pass on to us?
I'm only 5.
It is a child. There is pictures of children downstairs. No way. Toys. Thought they were toys. Wow. I'm only 5. Okay. Can you tell me if you're a boy or a girl? If you're a boy, can you touch the black device? Can you touch the toy on the bed for me? If you're a little girl, can you touch the toy on the bed? Guys, that is so weird. If it's a little boy that's in the room with me, can you touch that toy, the black toy on the bed? Just give him a sec. If I have a little girl in the room with me, can you touch that toy on the bed, please? If you'd like to play a game.
Ava.
Ava. Guys, so we've got the name Ava, and I'm only 5. She referred to the devices as...
And then the situation took a turn. The spirit talker produced 2 words that seemed completely random, until they glanced around and spotted something in the living room that neither of them had ever encountered in any other location they'd explored.
If anyone is in this house, can you come into this room with us? Let us know that you're here.
The bench.
The bench.
The bench. May.
No way.
Literally.
The bench, mate.
There's a bench in here.
Yeah, like... what other house has a bench in it?
Exactly, mate. So you're sitting on the bench with the photos which were mentioned earlier. That's amazing.
Yeah, literally.
Or is your photograph on the bench? Is that what you're trying to tell us? If I get any of these right, set a device off for me.
As if it's at the bench.
I know, mate.
I did.
Wow. Cat ball. Can you tell us who was... If you want to set off these devices, I can show you. That's all you have to do there. And all you have to do is step in front of that device there. Can you do that for us now? We also have a device that you can speak through. We'll use that if you'd like. The bench.
No.
Was somebody on the bench, mate?
The moment yet another name came through the device, an entire piece of furniture it was resting on jolted forward and shook with force, while one of them stood there and watched it happen right in front of them.
That we just heard something from there.
Yeah.
The only thing in that corner is the camera.
Yeah. While I was on the covers, man. Hey. Did you hear that?
No, what was it?
I just had a noise to alarm it, like something falling.
I missed it. I missed it.
Did you just make a noise in the hallway? Can you do it again for us?
Amelia.
No, that whole thing has just moved.
No way.
The whole thing just moved. I was watching it because I seen the word come up.
What, the whole...
The whole thing.
Amelia.
No,
Amelia.
no. Just shook. Please tell me that shows on that camera.
Go forward.
Go forward.
Go forward. Mate, I should have got that on camera. I should have got that.
Shook.
The whole thing just moved. I just watched it.
So I was getting a feeling like something was like in my pocket.
So when that just said, was it Amelia?
Yeah.
The whole thing just shook. Is that the person that said they scare people? I'm clutching my pearls. No, that's crazy. I just watched it. I watched the word come up, and then I seen the thing pull towards me, and then just like...
More words followed rapidly, hints about something terrible that had happened here. And when they heard movement somewhere else in the house, they knew it was time to leave.
Literally, Jeff came through earlier on.
Right. Can you tell us, is Jeff the person that... Or was Jeff... Sarah?
Yes.
Is, not here. Mate, my arms are killing.
Yeah, same. I feel like
We're delighted you're here.
Oh, same, same.
Shh, 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 shh.
No way, no way, no way. Where's my torch? Sounded like a door or a window. Or some sort of movement.
So who exactly was the person whose name came through just before that furniture launched itself across the floor? What took place inside this house that left someone communicating the words, "My remains are still here"? And what was it that warned them to watch out the very moment they set foot upstairs? A man's voice echoes through the darkness of an empty house in Red Lodge, Montana. He goes by Eric O'Day, and his claim is a simple but unsettling one. The Airbnb he'd booked wasn't nearly as vacant as it appeared.
There's no one in here. There's no one in here. There's no one here. Jesus, off. God damn it, dude. You.
In the beginning, things were subtle. Banging, tapping, and knocking from somewhere inside the walls. The sort of noises you talk yourself out of when you're sleeping somewhere old and unfamiliar.
It's noon here, but I still feel like I haven't slept because all night I hear there's sudden bangs, and they're not like subtle, they're...
Living with the uncertainty, Eric went out and bought earplugs, persuading himself it was just the structure doing what old buildings do, and did his best to put it out of his mind.
Earplugs, those have helped quite a bit actually. Banging still all throughout the night and whatnot, just sporadic, but been having a lot of crazy dreams too.
Then the activity crossed a line that was much harder to rationalize away.
Just got back from having coffee with a friend. When I left, there is That door was closed.
Cabinet doors began swinging open by themselves.
Okay. Well, those were closed when I left too. Off.
He describes feeling the door press firmly against his back.
Dude.
After enduring enough of these unexplained moments, Eric eventually did what most people chasing a haunting end up doing. He positioned a camera, took a seat, and started waiting.
The banging stopped. But it stops where I came close.
He'd been sitting there for well over 30 minutes when something suddenly made a sound nearby.
Waiting here all day, nothing's happened. It seems to be chill. But I don't know. Whatever, man. I'm gonna go eat. That is hysterical. The second that I go to... Literally, I've been sitting here for like 30 minutes. Nothing fucking happened. That! Nope! Nope!
Around this time, Eric began asking the locals about the property. The townspeople didn't seem particularly shocked. He says many of them had already heard stories of strange goings-on in Red Lodge, and some believed the root cause was literally buried beneath their feet.
A bunch of history. Miners died here, miners lived here, they built a bunch of tunnels underneath the town. You can look it all up at Red Lodge. And every time I talk to people, they tell me that this kind of...
Red Lodge grew up as a coal town, and running under its streets are old mining tunnels that were once central to the entire region. Certain locals even claim those tunnels still link buildings together far below ground.
The city is completely on top of mines, and so a lot of those buildings are all connected to each other, and people say that there's a lot...
But that mining heritage is shadowed by devastating loss. On February 27, 1943, a methane explosion tore through the Smith mine near Bear Creek. There were 77 men working underground that morning. Only 3 made it out alive. 74 miners perished, making it the deadliest coal mining disaster in the entire state of Montana. Eric says the residents he spoke with carried their own accounts. Paranormal encounters, stories passed down through families, things they simply couldn't make sense of. Some told him the land had already earned a dark reputation long before a single mine shaft was ever sunk. As Eric put it, Red Lodge was home to many Native American tribes who had been locked in conflict with one another, and before any settlers from the west even arrived, smallpox had swept through and wiped out entire tribes, erasing cultures and communities almost overnight. By the time the miners showed up, strange things were already being reported, and people were already saying the land was cursed. Then, in 1943, 74 men were sealed underground and never came back, and that only deepened that belief. Which brings us to the footage that finally convinced Eric something was genuinely sharing that house with him. It's easy to miss at first glance, but once the video is zoomed in, the shape of a dark human figure becomes visible standing motionless in the hallway, staring out from the shadows. Eric moves to check it out almost immediately, but by the time he reaches the hallway, there's nothing there. No one standing, nothing moving, no way to account for what the camera caught. So what was really going on inside that Red Lodge Airbnb? An aging house with quirks, odd air currents, and a string of coincidences? Or something genuinely paranormal tied to a town built on top of tunnels, trauma, and mass death? A cursed stretch of land, doors that won't stay shut, and a shadowy figure that appears in a hallway and then simply vanishes. Eric O'Day arrived in Red Lodge expecting a peaceful getaway, but whatever he encountered there left him with one piece of advice for anyone else considering a stay. Find out what happened in that town before you close your eyes for the night.
To be home. I never would have believed any of that stuff had I not seen it with my own eyes. But look up Red Lodge, man. Look up the history there. If you want to go ghost touring, go to Red Lodge and just keep your eyes open because I saw weird.
So this one's about a guy who was convinced he'd finally found his ideal home. Peaceful building, affordable rent, great area. It ticked absolutely every box, exactly the kind of place he'd spent ages searching for. Then, one evening, he's just hanging around with his phone, filming near the hallway, when suddenly this intense scraping noise rips through the apartment. He edges closer to investigate, and what unfolds next is something he was completely unprepared to face. Here's what was caught on camera. Without any warning, a drawer glides open by itself, slow and deliberate, coming to a stop right at his feet. He doesn't stop to think. He just bolts, straight through the front door, down the stairwell, and out onto the street below. Then he turns and looks up toward his apartment window, and there it is. A dark silhouette just standing there, motionless, quiet, staring straight down at him through the glass, completely still, just watching. Hours go by, and with nowhere else to turn, he eventually makes his way back inside. But something felt different now, because somewhere deep inside he understood that whatever had been waiting up there wasn't disoriented or wandering. It knew exactly who lived there, and it had zero plans of going anywhere. February 2015, two truck drivers were making their way along a highway when a white pickup truck came barreling toward them at high speed. The pickup cut in front of their rig and started decelerating, ultimately bringing the truck to a full stop. Initially, the truckers figured the guy was trying to flag them down about something, maybe an engine issue or a light out on the back. They pulled onto the shoulder, but after coming to a stop, the pickup's driver never stepped out. Instead, the vehicle began slowly looping around the rig, at one point even drifting into the oncoming lane and blocking traffic in both directions. By this stage, the truckers had a decent look at the man inside. He just sat there gripping the wheel, eyes locked on them, completely silent, making zero effort to communicate. Things started feeling very wrong very fast, and the drivers grew concerned he might be carrying a weapon.
Does he think you cut him off or something?
I don't know. I think it's fucked up.
DC.
Not willing to stick around and find out, they made the call to get out of there as quickly as they could. To maneuver around the pickup, they had to reverse the rig first. They attempted to get the license plate on film, but the angle didn't cooperate. Moments later, the pickup also reversed and planted itself directly in their path. The driver spotted a gap and went for it, but the second they began pulling forward, the white pickup slammed into the back of their trailer, almost like the driver was deliberately trying to pin them down. Despite the impact, the truckers held their nerve and kept moving without stopping. Eventually, they managed to shake the pickup off entirely. Not long after, they pulled over at the side of the road and waited for law enforcement to show up. When officers arrived, they swept the surrounding area and tracked down the white pickup parked close by. The man at the wheel was taken into custody, and once police reviewed the dashcam footage, he was formally arrested. Investigators concluded that the driver had not been in a rational state of mind at the time. Given how erratic and threatening his behavior had been throughout the ordeal, things could have turned out far worse. This clip first surfaced on YouTube back on December 4th, 2012, capturing a group of guys venturing through a long underground tunnel after dark. The only source of light they had were their flashlights, leaving most of the tunnel swallowed in shadow. Right from the start, the tension was already hanging heavy in the air. One of them swept the beam further down the tunnel to get a sense of what lay ahead, before the group cautiously pressed on deeper inside. Keep your eyes glued to the screen. Midway through their exploration, everything shifted in an instant. A figure emerged from the darkness at the far end of the tunnel and came charging straight toward them at full speed. They didn't stop to think. Pure panic took over, and they bolted in the opposite direction. The shape of whatever it was remained hard to make out, looking strange and unrecognizable in the near total darkness. Some viewers are convinced it was something lurking in that tunnel, while others argue it was simply a person playing a prank. What gives this footage its real punch is how fast the mood flips from cautious curiosity to absolute terror, all within From the Scottish wilderness, meet Bungee Cave, a UK-based channel with a genuine talent for hauling camping equipment into locations that most sane people would take one look at and immediately leave. May 10th to twive solo wild camping in the remote Scottish Highlands, punishing terrain, and a level of grim atmosphere that makes you genuinely question the decision-making of everyone involved. But the footage is real, and that means we're doing this.
A little bit of a down climb from the road to reach this cave, but it doesn't look like it's too far. Oof, this is seriously steep. Right, I made it onto the beach. So here we are on the beach, and the cave is just round the corner. It's all getting a little bit too real now. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous.
It begins with a brutal, near vertical scramble down from the roadside, boulder fields, a secluded beach, Elsa Craig visible off in the distance. He's already on edge before he's even located the entrance. Then a thought creeps in that he can't shake. The tide is going to roll in soon, and when it does, there will be no way back out. The cave isn't even visible yet.
And I can't lie, I'm slightly terrified. Oh, right, just take a minute. Okay, let's go in and investigate. Whoa, that is a tight fit. That is extremely dark.
Further inside now, a cramped side passage, a ceiling so low he's forced onto his hands and knees just to move. The flashlight sweeps through the darkness and settles on something resting on the rock. Someone left it behind, a severed doll's head. staring straight back at him from the shadows, just sitting there, perfectly still, like it had been waiting.
Heavy stuff, but here it goes. Forgive me guys, I've just started having a nosebleed. I think it might be the nerves, so you're gonna have to deal with me.
Outside, night has fully taken over. He turns his gaze back toward those narrow recesses where the doll's head had been resting, and says plainly that there is no chance he's going back down there. Honestly, that's a completely reasonable position to take.
But that is very loud. The waves are crashing against the shore. The time is currently 10 past 11, so still an hour and a half until high tide. But it sounds like it's right there, which means I wouldn't be able to leave right now even if I wanted to. So I am stuck here for the night, which is a little bit of a scary thought.
A broken, sleepless night filled with the constant echoing of birds eventually gives way to morning light. He sweeps the flashlight one final time down those dark corridors, then turns his back on all of it and leaves. The nosebleed, the doll's head, a rising tide that had sealed off the exit, a cannibalism legend he'd been reading out loud at midnight, alone, underground. Frankly, I wouldn't have made it past the boulder field. In December 2016, a Brazilian daredevil by the name of Fabio Ezequiel was gearing up for what he believed would be the ultimate test of his nerve. At 36 years old, he had built a reputation for seeking out extreme thrills, and his latest target was a 40-meter bungee jump off a railway bridge in Sao Paulo. What made this particular jump special was that Fabio intended to capture every second of it on camera. The footage shows him alongside his wife, his 6-year-old son, and his brother, all gathered to witness the moment and cheer him on. For Fabio, this was meant to be a defining milestone, perhaps the crowning achievement of his entire stunt career. He was so self-assured going into it that he had actually entertained the idea of bringing his son along for the jump. In the end, he thought better of it. Then the moment arrived, and Fabio launched himself headfirst from the bridge. What followed was every spectator's worst nightmare.
Mano do céu. Vai quando eu falar, tá? Beleza. Quando você abre o braço aí, tá na sua. Sabia que ia dar merda.
Ah, não acredito, gente. O que aconteceu?
Vai tomar no cu, caralho.
Ah, não, gente.
The cord fastened to his ankle never snapped back. The crew he had paid to handle the rigging had made a catastrophic error in their calculations. They had measured the cord length completely incorrectly, leaving nothing to arrest his descent. With no force to slow him down, Fabio struck the ground directly in front of his watching family. Emergency services rushed him to hospital, but there was nothing to be done. The force of the impact had been instantly fatal. The video Fabio had recorded that day ended up serving as key evidence for investigators, making it undeniably clear that the team responsible for setting up the jump had fundamentally misjudged the physics involved, a deadly mistake that robbed a son, a husband, and a father of his life. Dating back to 2008, this footage supposedly captures a group of children having a run-in with a Sasquatch. They're out in the yard on a chilly, overcast day when one of the kids notices something lurking at the tree line. See for yourself what unfolds.
Alright. These guys are playing on some tubes. Don't ask me why.
What's that? Right up the left.
What?
What is that thing? Whoa, what the heck?
Dude, I don't... What?
What is that?
I'm not seeing it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, what is that? What is that thing? This is history right here. Don't tell me that's a Yeti.
Right on the nose, right there. Wait, get on camera. Get on camera.
I'll do my best to zoom in on the brief glimpses we catch of the creature, and you can draw your own conclusions about whether this thing is the real deal. It does feel a little too convenient that they just happened to have a camera rolling the moment a Sasquatch wandered by, But then again, maybe luck was simply on their side that day. The following video was recorded by a man who was pulling into his own driveway on what should have been an ordinary afternoon. It's bright daylight, nothing unusual, just a quiet residential property with a detached shed sitting in the yard. The kind of thing you'd walk past 100 times without a second thought. He's got his phone out, filming casually from inside his car when he glances over at the shed and notices the right-hand blue door sitting slightly open. And then something happens that changes his whole afternoon. Watch.
I'm pulling into the house, grab the phone, look at that windows wide open door. What the? No. There's some there. That is 100% a person in my shed. Yo, that's a person in my shed. That is a person in my shed. Hey, dude. Okay, that's a school. That's somebody in the shed. Yo! Hey, who was in here? 100% saw that! Yo! Hey! And I saw something on the Ring camera. I see movement. Who's up here? Hey, come on. Is somebody up here? Hey. Look, come on, man. Please. I will 100% call the police. I'm not kidding. Hey there. Yo. Come on, man. I'm calling the police. If somebody is in here, the police will be here in 5 minutes. Do you hear me? And you Hey, come on. You're done. I'm telling you. Okay. All right. Look, that's fine.
The shed door slams shut, hard, forceful, with no one visibly near it. You can hear it in his voice immediately, that split second where his brain catches up to what his eyes just saw, and he's already out of the car, running across the driveway, shouting into the shed. He's convinced there's a person in there. Nobody answers. Inside, he finds a cluttered workshop, tools scattered across the floor, and then his attention goes to a small storage closet at the back, an orange cord hanging from the ceiling swinging, a white object moving, nothing he touched, nothing he bumped, and then it gets worse. From the dark attic space above, a loud crash explodes out of nowhere, startling him badly enough to jerk the camera completely off frame. A light fixture on the ceiling is reportedly broken from it. He holds his ground for a moment longer, threatening to call the police, pleading for whoever's up there to just show themselves. Then a second clatter rings out and a piece of debris drops straight down from the attic opening onto the ladder below, and that's enough. He runs. What's interesting here is that, according to him, Ring camera footage from the same moment showed nothing in that attic. No person, no animal, just sound and movement with no source attached to it. So what exactly was up there? You decide. Now, in this next clip, two men are exploring what looks like an abandoned building at night. A crumbling room with pale, dirty walls and a set of old green double doors barely holding together. The man on screen had just told the person filming that he'd seen someone inside the room. That alone was enough to make him stop. He reaches out, touches a thin wire strung across the doorway, then slowly pushes one of the doors open to peer into the darkness beyond. Watch.
मैंने भी यहाँ किसी को देखा है इसमें ये क्या हो रहा है ये अपने आप कैसे हो रहा है देखते हैं मामू अंदर से कुछ यहाँ सही नहीं है मामू नहीं हमें यहाँ रहना चाहिए हमें चलना चाहिए यहाँ से
The moment his hand is near the door, it slams violently shut on its own, far too fast and forceful for a gentle push or a draft to explain. He recoils immediately, asking aloud how it could have happened by itself, then presses his hand to his chest, breathing hard. Sounds begin coming from behind the closed doors, and he tells the cameraman they need to leave. Some viewers think a draft or loose hinge could account for the slam, but if you watch the speed of that door, that explanation gets harder to hold on to. Others believe the building itself was giving them a warning. What do you think was behind it? This next clip was recorded inside what looks like an old cabin or shed, sometime at night, with a single light source cutting through the darkness just enough to illuminate a worn, paint-peeling wooden door. Whoever was holding the phone hadn't gone in looking for anything unusual, but something at the top of that door frame stopped them cold. Watch. What emerges from behind the wall is a dense, writhing mass of Harvestmen, those thin-legged arachnids sometimes called daddy long legs, hundreds of them crawling over one another in a living, shifting carpet along the lintel. If you keep watching, one of them eventually drops down onto the door itself before disappearing back into the swarm. Some viewers think congregations like this are just natural behavior, harmless clustering in a sheltered space. Others aren't so quick to dismiss it. In several folk traditions, a sudden abundance of certain creatures inside a dwelling is read as a sign that something in that space has drawn them there. You decide what that something might be. Before we head back in, one quick thing. All of our videos are now on Spotify, so if that's where you tend to be late at night, every compilation we've made is sitting there waiting for you. Watch it however you'd rather watch it. The link's in the bio. Now, back to the video. This next clip was recorded by a static camera positioned low in the corner of a room, looking up at a window covered by closed wooden blinds. An ordinary indoor scene shot at night, inside a home that sits directly across from a cemetery. Nothing about the visual should unsettle you. That's exactly the point. What makes this footage so hard to shake isn't what you see, it's what you hear. Listen closely. Three knocks, sharp and deliberate, ring out from somewhere just beyond the frame. Then footsteps moving away across gravel, fading into the dark. Crickets fill the silence after. And then, roughly 20 seconds later, the three knocks come again. And again after that, a third time, same pattern, same rhythm, almost mechanical in its repetition. The room itself never moves. The blinds don't shift. Nothing responds. Some believe that knocking in sets of three carries a specific significance in certain spiritual traditions, a deliberate mockery or inversion of something sacred, associated with dark or uninvited presence. Others think whatever was outside was waiting to be let in. 3 times is rarely an accident. So what do you think was standing at that door? Now, in this next clip, a man is inside his home late at night when something on his roof, or maybe above it entirely, starts making sounds he clearly wasn't expecting. He's holding his phone in selfie mode at first, his expression tight and worried, pressing a finger to his lips as if whatever is out there might hear him too. Then the lights dim, and he goes very still, turning his head slowly towards something just off camera. That alone sets an uneasy tone, and then it gets worse. Watch. What you hear first is his cat meowing loudly in the background, clearly agitated. Then the banging starts. Sharp, metallic crashes coming from somewhere above, loud enough to make him flinch with each impact. He scrambles through the garage, phone swinging, scanning the ceiling, before shouting and bolting out into the dark toward a shed out back. What do you think was in the shed? This next video was recorded inside an abandoned children's psychiatric hospital at night, and from the moment these two investigators step through the door, something clearly does not want them there. The man is operating a handheld camera with a flashlight attached, while the woman beside him, wearing a purple backpack and carrying what looks like investigation equipment, moves through the decayed, debris-strewn hallways alongside him. The building is already in ruin. Peeling walls, overturned furniture, shattered remnants of what the place used to be. They're sweeping the rooms, coordinating. He'll cover the right side, she'll cover the left. Quiet, methodical, cautious. Then it all changes. Watch.
Dale, dale. No sé, es que ¿dónde se escondería? Si estamos... Si tú abarcas la izquierda, yo abarco la derecha. Los vidrios están empezando a reventar. Ten cuidado, ven, ponte detrás mío, que no te vayas. Sí, están que se revientan los vidrios. Ven. Ven rápido, no te pongas en los vidrios. Puta madre. No te pongas en los vidrios. Acá. Ahí. Quédate. Ven, sal. Ten cuidado. Ay, hey, la sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no tienes poder aquí. ¡Basta, demonio! La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tranquila, quédate ahí, ¿ok? Dale, quédate ahí, yo voy a entrar. Quédate ahí, ¿ok? Quédate ahí, no entres. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Quién está? La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no tienes poder aquí, demonio. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no tienes poder aquí, demonio. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no tienes... Uy, mierda. Ay, carajo. Concha. Uy, está bien. Uy, no. Uy, Dios. Oh, ay, Dios. Oh. No, están que se revienta toda la casa. Se está reventando toda la casa. No, ven. Aléjate lo que más puedas de los vidrios.
Starting with a single sharp bang and escalating into something almost impossible to process, glass pane doors begin slamming and shattering with violent force. Windows explode from across the room and then from above. Debris, wood, and metal crashing down in every direction with no visible source. The woman runs. He goes back in. You can hear him invoking the name of Christ repeatedly, shouting at whatever is in that room to stand down. And still, the destruction continues. What's striking isn't just the scale of it, but the sequence. It doesn't feel random. Each burst of shattering glass seems to move through the room deliberately, as if something is working its way around the space. Many viewers familiar with poltergeist cases point out that this kind of escalating, multi-directional destruction is one of the most documented patterns in that category. Not a single violent event, but a series of them, building in intensity. Skeptics argue structural decay in abandoned buildings can cause spontaneous glass failures, especially in temperature-shifted environments at night. But the timing here is hard to reconcile with that. If you listen to the way the crashes respond to his commands, pausing, then resuming with more force, the question isn't just what caused this, it's whether it was listening. You decide. In this next video, a man is filming his backyard late at night after noticing something he couldn't explain standing inside his wooden gazebo. He's out on the concrete patio, flashlight in hand, sweeping the yard when the beam catches something in the gazebo's direction that stops him cold. He zooms in, and what appears inside that structure is tall, pale, and vaguely humanoid, translucent almost, like something hovering between being there and not being there at all. You can hear the confusion in his voice immediately, asking out loud what it is, noting that it looks see-through. He retreats inside briefly, then makes a decision that a lot of people watching would argue against. He goes back out. Watch.
Can you see that? What the hell is that? And it kind of looks like it's see-through. Okay. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna go back inside. I gotta see. It's gone. It's not there anymore. It's not there anymore. noise? What was that noise? Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell was that noise? It sounded like it was right behind me.
When he returns and shines the flashlight directly into the gazebo, it's empty. Whatever he'd seen moments before had simply vanished. He advances toward it anyway, stepping off the patio and onto the grass, getting close enough to confirm there's nothing inside. And then, just as he's standing near it, an aggressive guttural sound erupts from somewhere off camera. Not crickets, not the wind, something entirely different. He screams, turns, and runs. Some viewers think the figure could be a ghost or residual apparition, an energy imprint that briefly materialized before dissipating, which would explain why it vanished before he could get close. Others point to the sound and argue that whatever made it was still out there in the dark, waiting. If you listen to how he describes it afterward, it sounded like it was right behind me. That detail is hard to shake. What exactly was standing in that gazebo, and what made that sound? Now, in this next clip, a man decides to have a very direct conversation with something he believes is living in his bedroom, and what talks back has left a lot of people unsettled. He's filming at night, camera pointed toward a closed wooden door in a dimly lit blue-gray room, and he addresses whatever's on the other side with complete confidence. Watch.
Hey, I know you're a f***ing mimic. I've seen you all over TikTok and stuff like that. If you want to mimic my voice, that's fine. But if you're gonna live under here, you at least have to pay rent. You got it? No, f*** you. You.
He accuses it of being a mimic, a term used online and in paranormal communities to describe an entity that copies human voices, sounds, and sometimes appearances to deceive or disorient its target. The moment he finishes speaking, a second voice answers back. Same tone, same accent, but distorted and slightly lower, like a warped reflection. Some viewers think the voice is just a sound effect, but others point out that mimics in folklore are considered particularly dangerous precisely because you can't always tell them apart from someone you trust. What would you do if something answered back? In the following video, a guy is making a quick video to show his sister's fiance just how creepy the crematorium where he works can get after hours. What starts as a casual walkthrough quickly turns into something far more disturbing. Watch this.
Lights, they turn off automatically at a certain hour. And I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna walk you through now. I have a friend that works that he would see and hear things coming from these furnaces when they're burning the bodies. So when I'm walking through here, they usually put the urns out to send to the families. So when I'm walking here at night, I walk right by these urns that they put on these tables here. And then I come down, freaking out. This is crazy.
Now, crematoriums already carry a heavy atmosphere. The energy there is said to linger, trapped between the living and the dead. Some even believe places like this can absorb emotions, grief, pain, fear, and release them in strange ways. Others think the constant contact with the deceased could make it easier for spirits to attach themselves to the living, especially workers who spend long nights alone. Now, back to the guy in this video. He's convinced there's a ghost haunting this crematorium, and until someone gives him a better explanation for what he saw, he's not budging from that theory. So what do you think? Paranormal encounter, or something else? You decide. Now, this next video was captured at around 3:15 in the morning, and after what happened, there was no way the guy could go back to sleep. Watch this.
Estaba por entrar a mi casa, son 3:15 de la mañana, y la luz empieza a ser así, no sé. Sinceramente siento que hay alguien acá. No sé por qué lo presiento. Si te querés mostrar, mostrate ahora. Hay alguien sentado ahí. Hay alguien sentado. Mostrate.
Only people who've woken up to the sound of something unexplainable can truly relate to the kind of terror this brings. That feeling of being watched, of knowing you're not alone. And for this guy, it's not a one-time event. Strange things keep happening in his home, often at the same exact hour, like something's deliberately choosing that time to make itself known. But many who followed his story were relieved to find out it wasn't the teddy this time. The same teddy that's moved on its own in several of his earlier videos. But that only made people wonder, what if it was never the teddy? What if whatever's in his home simply uses different objects to get his attention? Or worse, to toy with him? Some say he's dealing with a spirit that feeds off fear, while others think something darker might be attached to the house itself. Until he shares another update, what's really tormenting him remains a mystery. In the following clip, a woman named Jess shares a chilling story, one that's been haunting her for over a decade. Jess lost a close friend named Derek 13 years ago, and ever since then, he's never really left. No matter where she moves, strange things follow. Lights flickering, footsteps in empty rooms, objects shifting on their own. And in her new home, one she moved into just a few months ago, it seems Derek has somehow found her again. Watch this.
Mary, what? He's doing it again. He's doing it again. Mary, he's doing it again. Derek! Hey, Derek! I know you're you, dude. Derek! Derek! I'm talking to you, man. Stop f***ing me, dude. Calm down, Jessica. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. It's just Derek. Hey, Derek. Hey, Derek. What you doing, buddy? I miss you. Derek. What are you doing, buddy? You know I love you. You know I love you. Hey, Derek. Come on, you dumb... What the f...
Now, a lot of people believe Jess might be unknowingly holding on to something that once belonged to Derek, something personal that's keeping his spirit tethered to her. Others think Derek could be trying to communicate, perhaps trying to deliver a message she's missed for over 13 years, something that, once understood, might finally allow him to move on. But not everyone agrees. Some say she's making a dangerous mistake, that what she's experiencing isn't Derek at all, but something pretending to be him, using her grief to gain her trust. A few even suggested she check her attic, where energies tend to gather in old houses, and when she finally did, this is what she found.
Y'all wanted me to come up to the attic, okay? This is the wall that y'all saw some shit on. And these are the stairs. Like, my husband has all his clothes, of course. But if you look up there, there's no windows. I'm not going all the way up there because it scares the shit out of me. There's no windows. There's a sofa, some mirrors, a chair, his clothes, but there's no windows up here, okay? There's nothing up here that would have done anything. See? No window. No window. No windows. Nothing. Absolutely nothing up here. Other than like his toolboxes and a chair. I'm not going up here because it's too scary for me. But there are some mirrors, which is weird for an attic. A fan. See, there's no windows. This is my attic. There's nothing up here that could have done that shit. Alright, I'm getting the out of here because it feels weird.
So, is Jess truly being visited by the spirit of her old friend? Or something else wearing his face to keep her believing? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Now, in this next clip, we're looking at footage captured inside a daycare in East Tennessee, one that used to be an old church before it was converted. Watch this.
The video I'm about to show you is very disturbing. I'm just gonna let it play for you and then I'll give you the background.
See? Lights go off. Now watch. You're gonna see.
What you just saw was security footage that was sent to me by a woman who worked at a daycare in East Tennessee, Appalachia region. This daycare is actually a very old church that was turned into like a private daycare school. She said that events leading up to this, she was kind of having some weird experiences where she would be in her office after hours and would hear like people walking down the stairs, and then she would go check the stairwell and nobody would be there, or she would hear noises coming from classrooms and open up the door and see nothing. She said she would be the only one on the property at this time because she was in charge of like opening the daycare center, and then she would often stay after hours. So nobody was in the building when she was hearing these noises. On this particular day, she was opening the daycare. She went in that door that you saw at the end of the hall and noticed there was an iPad laying on the ground. This was really odd to her because these iPads are put into this like cabinet area that are hooked on like chargers. And she said they're very secure and they're like sitting up on charging decks, if that makes sense. She thought maybe an intruder came in or something, so she immediately notified the security officer who came and checked the camera footage. And that is the camera footage that you saw. Literally, the way that iPad just flings out of that cabinet is giving me chills right now. In the beginning, I feel like I also saw some kind of an orb object, but I've watched this video so many times and I feel like it's just unexplainable. Tell me what you saw in the video, if you saw the orbs like I did, or if you noticed anything else that's odd, and leave in the comments if you have any weird experiences like this.
The way that iPad flew across the room is hard to wrap your head around. Now here's a bit of context. The woman who shared this video works at the daycare and said there had been a series of strange occurrences long before this day. She'd often stay late in her office and hear what sounded like footsteps coming down the old wooden stairs, only to find no one there. Other times, faint noises would come from the classrooms after hours, toys rattling, drawers opening, whispers she couldn't quite make out. On the morning this footage was recorded, she arrived early and found one of the iPads lying on the floor. Now, she's the one who usually opens the daycare, so at that time, the building should have been completely empty, the iPads locked away in a cabinet as usual. Thinking it might have been a break-in, she called security. Omen people believe it's residual energy from when the building was still a church, that maybe the spirits of those who once gathered there never really left. Others think the conversion of the sacred space might have disturbed something that didn't want to be moved, but what do you think really happened inside that old daycare? In this next clip, a woman was walking down a quiet street late at night when her camera picked up something she couldn't explain. Watch.
Or the sub for you is going to be more. Everything's going up, but our wages aren't going up. Because I'm still seeing wages that are fucking pitiful on Indeed. Oh yay, I can make the same amount of money I made when I was out of high school, you know? Looks like there was a figure just standing right there. That's so crazy. I think it was my own shadow. That happens way too often.
At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a shadow, but take a closer look. The outline, the faint movement, and those glowing eyes staring straight at her. Some viewers think she may have caught a shadow figure, a manifestation often linked to dark energy or spiritual unrest. Others believe it's something far more physical, a creature that thrives in the dark, staying just beyond our understanding. There could be many other explanations for what she saw, like a trick of the light, an animal, or maybe something else entirely. But the idea that it could be something aware of her presence is what makes this clip so unsettling. Because if figures like this can move freely among us, unnoticed and unbothered, it makes you wonder what else is out there when the streets go quiet. So, what do you think she captured that night? And do you believe that some things walk among us, some seen and others we were never meant to see? Now, in this next clip, a woman named Keys has been dealing with strange activity in her home, the kind that keeps her up at night. But this time, she finally managed to catch something on camera. Watch this.
What is happening right now? First the door was moving, then I heard like talking, and then I keep seeing shadows. And for anyone telling me that I should go out there, yeah, why don't you go out there, please? Oh, it just opened and shut right in front of me. Oh man, I wish I could. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! I'm freaking out. And before anyone comes at me, it's freaking the middle of October in Pennsylvania. It's freezing out, so I have no windows open. I have one fan that circulates throughout the whole room, and that door has never done that. Like, it's moved on its own, but never just like slammed shut like that. I can't believe I just caught that on camera. What the actual believe I just caught that. And of course I'm alone. Yay me. Fun times.
Whatever that was, it's not the first time she's seen it. Keys says things like this have been happening for months. Objects moving on their own, lights flickering even when the power's stable, and that unsettling feeling that someone's standing right behind her when no one is there. She's tried everything from cleansing rituals to changing rooms, but nothing seems to stop it. And now, after this footage, she's starting to wonder if whatever's haunting her house might be getting stronger. If you've ever experienced something similar, drop your thoughts below. What did you do to make it stop? Because at this point, Keys is running out of ideas and courage. Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian visits one of Nebraska's most haunted locations, the Argo Hotel. This place has a long and unsettling history. Years ago, when it was still a sanatorium, a woman named Alice reportedly died during childbirth in the basement. Since then, people say her spirit never left. They hear her crying softly in the hallways at night, sometimes calling for her baby. But here's the disturbing part. During renovations, workers found skeletal remains of an infant sealed inside one of the walls. Many believe it was Alice's child, and she's not the only one said to haunt this place. Guests staying in room 1 often complain about their blankets being tugged off in the middle of the night, or waking up to the sound of faint breathing right beside them. On November 28, 2024, Ian decided to spend the night alone inside the Argo Hotel, hoping to capture proof of what's really happening here. Watch.
That sounded like a lady's voice, right there. I swear to God, I just heard that right behind me. Alice, is that you? She's that ghostly woman that they see wandering around. Could you say something again? I don't know if I'm just losing it, but I swear to God I heard that. I'm not hearing anything else. It's dead quiet. Alice, was that you I just heard? Whoa. There's something standing right over there. It was right behind that couch. There was something literally standing in that photo. It was like a mist or something. But I'm not seeing it anymore. It's completely gone.
So was that Alice still wandering these halls, or something else entirely? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was recorded around 3 a.m. by a guy who struggles to sleep at night, so he usually keeps himself busy until the exhaustion finally kicks in. On this particular night, he was watching TV like he always does, but when he stood up to head to bed, he suddenly felt something. Watch this.
What's up? What the f? Did you hear that jingle then? You hear that jingle? That definitely moved. What the f is going on in this house? And my cat as well just keeps doing this. My cat just keeps walking around meowing, which is also freaking me out. So weird. So weird. Are you here to hurt me? Are you here to do me harm? Are you friendly? Whoa, what the f? Nah. Nah, f off. No way. What the f? No, man. No way that just moved. Loki? Loki? You need to get out of my house, whatever you are, whoever you are, you need to leave. You need to leave right now. What's going on? For fuck's sake.
The moment viewers saw the African mask hanging on his wall, the comments section exploded. People wanted to know where he got it, how long he'd had it, and whether its presence lined up with the strange activity he'd been experiencing. And the more he talked, the more everything started to make sense. He revealed that he's owned the mask for a year, but it had only been inside his home for a couple of months. And ever since then, he'd been hearing noises while lying in bed. Light taps, distant footsteps, soft shuffling in the hallway. At first, he ignored it, but now it's escalating. Another morning, around 4 a.m., wide awake again and unable to shake the uneasiness, he finally decided to make a video for everyone begging to see the mask up close. Watch.
Anyone's got any opinions on this after they've seen it up close? What kind of mask it is? How old it might be? No expert. But what the f? Well, that's not freaky, is it? Jesus Christ. Hello? Hello? No. Everyone's been saying, why have you got the lights off all the time? The landing light does not work, right? There's no bulb in this light. Because usually I ain't shit scared of going upstairs. But I'm doing this because I just want to try and prove to you all there's nobody in the house but me and whatever the this is with me. Oh! Oh my god! Oh, you fucking hell. There was a figure in the window. There was a silhouette in the window. There was a silhouette in the window. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why are you doing this? Huh?
After that clip surfaced, his viewers began sharing their own experiences with similar African masks. Some claim the masks brought them sudden waves of bad luck until they removed them from their homes. Others said their once quiet house became strangely active and unsettling the moment the mask was hung up. Many urged him to get rid of it before whatever was attached to it got comfortable. And here's where things get even more intriguing. In many African cultures, traditional masks aren't just decorations. They're spiritual artifacts. Some are used in ceremonies to honor ancestors, summon spirits, or protect the tribe. But others serve as conduits, symbols meant to channel ancient energies, often tied to rituals outsiders may not fully understand. If a mask like this was once used in a ritual or belonged to a lineage of spiritual significance, it could carry an imprint, a presence. So the real question is, does he just have an artifact on his wall, or did he unknowingly bring something ancient into his home? In this next clip, two friends were on their way home after a party. They were still laughing, still hyped, and decided to record a quick video to send to the friends who couldn't make it, just to show them how the night went and how chaotic the party had been. But while filming that harmless update, they ended up capturing something entirely different. Have a look.
Got my son in the back seat. Shut your You ain't getting no ice cream! Ah! Why do you scream like that? No. Hello? Hello? I don't like that. Did that was her. Grab the phone. What the heck? Did we just catch a paranormal Huh? Grab the phone. I'm not doing this no more. Grab the phone. I'm trying. Don't leave me. What did you do? I was about to fall on my face. Oh, I'm not. No! No, do not. Door. Is this still recording? Yes! Oh my god, it's me.
Now, here's where things get strange. The exact moment they screamed, the car's light suddenly went off. But could there be a normal explanation? Some people think so. They argue that loud vibrations inside a car can loosen wiring or cause an already faulty light to flicker. Maybe the timing was just a strange coincidence, but others aren't buying it. They point out that the light didn't dim. It cut out instantly, like something interfered with the energy around them. Some are convinced they might have stirred up something they couldn't see, something that reacted the moment their voices spiked. So did their screaming disrupt the car light, or did they unknowingly catch a paranormal moment on camera? You decide.